She's like a hawk because she always comments and says shit on Facebook.
She does. She's like our biggest fan, but hates us.
She's a friend. She's a friend of me.
Fan?
She's a friend of me.
She is a friend of me. That's so funny.
All right, you're on.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, do you want to hear my story real quick?
Yes.
A funny story. Okay, so I do get cold sores, and I went to my doctor, and she was like, you can take Valtrex for that. Well, Valtrex is also for
the other kind of
herpes. So my daughter and
what other kind?
Shut up, Bob. My daughter and I were doing her little Valentines, and it was little candies, and she was putting candies into these like plastic hearts, and her teacher called and said, one of the students got a pill. It was a Valtrex pill. And you can't explain, it's for my cold sores. Nobody believes you, So I was like, great. So not only did I almost drug a kid with herpes medicine, but now the teacher thinks that I have nether region herpes.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it is believable, though. It's believable. There are people that.
Well, I made sure to walk into the
sores.
classroom multiple times with cold sores.
See my cold sore? See my cold sore?
Look, this is it.
Yeah.
So funny, not funny, but that was so many years ago that it's funny now. It was.
Well, another week and another Palmyra teacher has to leave, so that's exciting.
What's going on over there?
I don't know. Palmyra's a great little community. I have a lot of friends over there who are from there, who still live there, but man, they go through coaches like I go through these. So I don't know what the deal is, but
yeah, but aren't they known for like some of the best sports teams?
Yeah, they've
in the
always,
area?
traditionally they're good in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, a fella I went to high school with, his son just took the football job after all the drama, so he's a Mark Twain high grad. I wish him well. But yeah, the girls basketball coach was let go, and the girls basketball coach has been very active on social media saying, my dismissal had nothing to do with what those guys did, because we all know what those guys did because we reported on it.
We
don't know what this guy did, and so he's out, and they'll be looking for yet another coach.
There's no information on his dismissal at all.
I don't think he had a school-issued cell phone. But again, he says he didn't do anything in the school, obviously for personnel stuff, unless it's like we have to turn it over because of sunshine laws. They're not going to say anything. So, it's rough. But traditionally they're always good in stuff, and and again, a lot of times. Schools that have a tradition of excellence or whatever, then people are like, oh, we weren't as good as we should be. Why aren't we? Oh, let's fire the coach. Again, I don't know if that's the case this time or not, but I mean, this coach was only there 1 year. So
which coach are we talking about?
The basketball coach who just got let go. Yeah.
Okay. Boys or girls?
Girls.
Girls?
Yes.
What was their record?
They lost in the district final to South Shelby, who was really good.
Okay.
So they weren't bad. I mean, they were decent. So,
all right.
But anyway, that's what's going on that side of the river. And of course, it's been just this side of it's the whole thing. I was talking to someone, a friend of mine, and just said we've had this real run of stuff lately that it just hasn't been the most positive stuff to talk about, No. And so you get down here, and it's like, well, you mentioned something right out the gate that's not positive, but it's like, you guys on your podcast on the Daily Money talked about, nice, happy stuff, and then Ben and Matt Shuckman talked about their favorite things to do in the spring, and it was like, oh, that's really good. That's more of an icebreaker. That's more of, hey, gotta bring balance. Yeah, it's spring. We've had beautiful weather. Let's try to make the best of it, because there's just a lot of gloomy junk going on. Yeah. So. And I look at, we just finished an election. Almost finished an election. We'll have the 7th Ward vote will be tallied finally next Tuesday at 2:00. I'll be there for that. They did get one more vote in, so they've had 3 votes in 7th Ward. And so that's good, unless one of them's a write-in, and then we still have a tie. But so we'll see what happens next Tuesday, when those votes are tallied. But I think something else that's exciting that we're working on is the fact that the mayor and the Quincy Convention and Visitors Bureaus and people are starting to get some momentum on a sports complex, which you and we've all talked about a little bit. So it looks like they're starting to get some movement on that. So
says what? Why do you? You just know that?
It was discussed at the park board meeting briefly last night, but then David had a conversation with the mayor, and they talked more about it, and they're really trying to get some momentum behind it. So,
sweet. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy to help in any way that I can to get that going.
Well, yeah, I mean, and again, I mean, there's they were talking about the need for basketball courts, but also the need for soccer fields and the need for all that stuff. So so we can have tournaments and so our traveling parents don't have to travel all over. Occasionally, they can have people come here.
That's great news.
Yeah, they're working on it.
Yeah.
So, but the mayor even he told David, he said, we're not really far along in the process yet, but
I'm just glad they're entertaining it.
At least
I
it's
think
a
for
start.
a long time it was off the table.
Yes, at least it's a start.
Good.
So
Excellent.
Yeah,
so that's happy news.
Quincy needs soccer fields, more attention to soccer excellence, basketball excellence. Tanner Freiberg has done a lot of work.
Yeah.
With the basketball stuff, and then you've got a combination of Quincy Park District. I'm talking about soccer now. Quincy Park District and the two club teams, aside from like the public schools and the private schools, try to get their high school teams together. But I mean, Quincy is a soccer and a basketball powerhouse historically.
Yeah.
And you go all the way back to the Douglases in basketball, and then you've got like the recent wins with Quincy soccer with both boys and girls. I mean, it's fantastic. There's in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to report on some club soccer stuff.
Good.
Some really interesting things that is kind of in the works for that. So anything that the people of Quincy, including the mayor and everybody in the powers that be, that can improve Quincy sports. Yeah. Because sports is life.
That's a good way to, you bring all these teams in, you have these events here, and it helps everybody. It helps the restaurants, it helps the hotels, and that's what we want to do. And
that's the goal of the whole.
I know, and people are talking about developing the riverfront too. And while I'm for it, it's a good idea. A sports complex would have a greater, quicker impact than that, I believe, and have a broader impact.
Maybe it'll bring in the money that we need to actually get things done on the riverfront.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope, but you can do both. That doesn't mean those things aren't mutually exclusive.
I wonder if you mentioned basketball and soccer, which but I wonder if they would how big this is going to be. Are we just focusing on those, or is it like a complex that is baseball, hockey?
No, I think it's just, I don't know yet. They're trying to decide. I think they're trying to decide what direction they want to go in. So, but again, at least they're thinking about it. Yeah. So I think that's, for sure. That's to be commended, and hopefully they'll get some, get some traction and get some things rolling on it. So,
very cool.
But again, and trying to talk about, some good stuff going on, that certainly would be something that would be good. And when, David and I were sitting here talking a while ago about just everything going on. And, when we look at, what we're trying to do here at Muddy River, and, we look at our numbers and they're good, and we're doing really well here for a startup that's not even 2 years old yet, in my humble opinion. But, when you look at some of those numbers that are fueled by some of the bad stuff, like the readership numbers, it's like, well, okay, you got to take the good and the bad, because that's no matter what they're looking at on your site, they're looking at your site. And that's kind of the way we take it. And we try to, report on all the good stuff that we can, let people know what's going on in the community. That's really what we do with Daily Muddy, that Ashley gets to come in and, play with kitties and do all that fun stuff, so we can tell about the cool stuff going on.
I get to sandbag.
We have our Media Matter, our Local Matters page that talks about stuff. So we do all that, let you know what's going on in your community, and again, trying to really fill a void that has been vacated with some of the cutbacks and some of the other media folks around town.
Isn't it wild though that shitty news just gets all the?
If it bleeds, it leads.
Isn't that just so wild? It's just
talked about that in journalism school. It's like, look, it's not the best. It's not great, but that's the way it is.
It says a lot about human nature.
The police blotter, the obituaries, real estate, those are the most popular things on the website on a regular basis. And then when you have some big breaking crime story, that also drives the numbers through the roof. So
unfortunately, like the fireman saving the kitty off the roof in the tree does not have as much of a compulsive, obsessive gravity as opposed to something that is shocking.
But if we had that guy on the Daily Muddy, Ashley would jump his bones. So
hey.
Well, no, I mean she's
a married woman.
A firefighter saving a kitty, though. Come on, that's like right in your wheelhouse.
I would probably flirt. We'll say that. I'll go ahead and say that. I would flirt for sure.
Okay, there we go.
Isn't it? But then it takes me back to, remember that damn giraffe we all watched for months on end, waiting for it to give birth to this big. Did you guys ever watch it?
Giraffe.
The giraffe in whatever zoo. I mean, we were all waiting. This was years ago.
This was huge news for Ashley. This was
it wasn't
what
just
she
me.
focused
Somebody
on.
else is going to have to back
I
me
cared
up.
about Hammurabi. Was Hammurabi a thing?
Hammurabi
was a
it
thing,
the
right?
gorilla?
Yeah.
Do you know what Hammurabi was?
Oh, the snake?
Was that the
gorilla.
Oh, yeah. I said gorilla.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Is that
right.
his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
I
gorilla.
was thinking Jumanji. Oh, no, that's...
By the way...
Jumanji. Okay,
by the way...
Harambe.
I always get...
Harambe, not Hammurabi?
Harambe.
Harambe?
Okay.
It was a thing back a
Harambe.
few years ago.
Yeah,
okay.
but it wasn't as big as
Which,
the
by the
giraffe.
way,
and
I
somebody's
did-
going to have to back me up on that.
We'll have to Google that after the show and say which
I'm
was
telling
bigger,
you,
Harambe or the giraffe.
The views on this giraffe was outstanding. We are going to have to Google it. Go ahead.
We're going to Google it.
We got
and
it.
We're going to find out that the gorilla was a bigger story. So I will tell you
I'm
this.
probably wrong. It's most likely.
By the way, interestingly enough, or maybe not interesting, but the Harambe, the gorilla
Harambe,
from Africa, right?
That's why I didn't know
Yeah.
what it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
In the Congo or no? Somewhere in Africa.
Africa's a big place. I don't know.
Africa's huge.
Big country.
Is this the
Continent.
gorilla that
Largest
died?
continent.
Did
No,
he
it's
die?
the
Got
gorilla. Yeah, but so. By the way,
I just remember he was a thing. I don't remember what he
Yeah, it
did.
didn't stick with me.
Did he cure cancer? I don't know.
Was it the one who saved the little boy in the zoo? That was pretty cool.
no, that gorilla ate that little boy.
No, he didn't.
in the
He
zoo.
saved him. He
No,
damn it.
I know.
What? Totally right. What?
No,
No.
I'll just say
I refuse to believe that.
I feel confident we're going to Google this post pod and figure out which was the bigger story. If it turns out that it was the giraffe,
Yeah, you guys are going to have to come on
Bob
here
and I will be like,
apologize.
oh,
We'll
boy.
apologize.
Okay,
Yeah.
First, that'll be the
apologize.
first thing out of the box next week. Will
Yeah.
be, we're sorry, the giraffe was more popular than the
You have to wear
gorilla.
dresses or something.
I'm not wearing a dress, but I will
on.
tell you that, yeah. So,
speaking of news and like weird things, can I tell you a little bit? Kind of, it's not since we're talking about gorillas, I'm going to talk about my 3 kids for a second.
The zoo.
So in January, they got strep, all 3 of them, and it was not really pretty. And then now all 3 of them have strep again. And as you know,
Bummer.
as you know, Bob, I have strep.
I'm glad you're
And,
sitting
and
here. sitting
Ashley's.
above.
This is why
move on.
Yeah.
I've had antibiotics enough where I'm not contagious, supposedly. Except I think
That's what they all say.
This is what they all say, and it'll keep on living in my body. But the Strep A virus is wreaking havoc all over the place. But I just want to talk about this idea where I don't know if this is a normal thing, but like post COVID or like what is going on with the flu? Has the flu gone down? COVID goes down. Strep goes up. Do you guys have any idea why? Is this something that has existed since the planet was invented by God?
I mean, there's always been strep and the flu. I mean, COVID's obviously a newer thing, but
So right now, I don't feel that great.
right.
And I had strep a long time ago, like years ago. I don't know the last time that I had it, but it just hurt my throat.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then my throat hurt, and then I took antibiotics, and then it stopped hurting, and then I was good. And I finished my antibiotics all the way through. But this is not, my throat does not hurt. I just do not feel well.
Kind of feels
And
like the flu.
and
You're
my
taking the
kids-
antibiotics still.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm taking a
So they
zithromycin.
test you for strep, or they test you for COVID? They test you for all of it? What do they?
No, so I went to the Blessing drive-through in the old Sears building, and they're
Isn't
great.
that interesting?
They've got, isn't that interesting?
That's where
So
I got my
interesting.
first COVID test.
too.
That's where I got where I was positive. Yay, that was fun.
Drive
Drove it.
through. Oh my god!
But that was like,
so wild.
yeah, it's kind of so I went through the drive-through. Yeah,
Yeah.
you sit there for 30 seconds, and they weren't very busy. They usually are busy, but not this particular time, this past week. And I sat there and the doors opened and I went in, turned off my car and talked to the receptionist, talked to everybody. And we talked for a while about strep and how if you feel like you're not feeling very good, go get a strep test. And sure enough, they swabbed the back of my throat and called me 15 minutes later, and they said, you've got strep and your medicine will be available at Brown Drugs. So I took it. So I'm on my 3rd day of azithromycin, and got two days left.
Is that like Z-Pack?
Yeah.
I feel like that stuff's not very good.
Yeah.
I really do. I feel like it's not. It's like a 7-day.
It's 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
So amoxicillin is like the 10-day.
I don't really know, but I feel the last few times I've taken Z-Pack, it doesn't really do a whole lot.
When was the last time you took an antibiotic, Bob?
College.
No, I have. I mean, I get sinus infections periodically, so probably not. But I didn't get one this winter. So very last winter, probably had a sinus infection.
So every other, maybe.
Yeah.
Sinus infection.
Yeah.
Yeah. From blowing your nose too hard.
No, I just get a sinus infection.
No,
I don't know what it's from. I just get a sinus infection.
Well,
That's how I blew my eardrum out. Blowing my nose too hard. That's how I knew I was getting older.
Most people blow their nose too hard, and where I'm going with this is get your wellness checks once a year, get your blood drawn, and if you are on antibiotics, Bob's like, no, I'm not doing any of that.
No, I'm talking about just the whole blowing the nose thing. When you're from Rawls County, you just go and get it done that way.
My daughter does that. Drives me insane.
Oh yeah, it just drives Ellen nuts too. I'm like, this is how I've blown my nose since I was like 4 years old.
Like in the living room?
No, I'll go in the bathroom toilet and do that.
Oh.
Yeah. You're not hitting
or the yard.
Can you shoot it in the toilet?
Oh, sure. Not from the living room. I go in the bathroom in the toilet.
Do you stand or
He's got
do you
trick
get
shots.
I bend over.
You bend over and do
Trick
boom
shot,
boom?
farmer blows.
Or I'm outside. Yeah, farmer blow. Yeah.
Do you need?
Yeah.
But
or shower.
Do
You know,
but do you need
in the
tissue?
shower too.
That like does that.
But do you need?
spreads.
Do you need? Okay, hold on a second. I'm picturing this. Do you pull the toilet paper out and then go boom boom?
No
and
toilet paper.
There's no toilet paper. He's saying into the toilet.
No toilet
I
paper.
know, but what I'm saying is I do that too, and there's always a little bit of like snot on the side of. Sorry, listeners.
That's what your shirt sleeves for.
I wonder how many times Ellen has sat in his
Rawls
snot
County.
rocket.
Through and
That's
through.
what I need to know.
Rawls County.
Yeah.
That's what shirt sleeves are for.
What's is St. Louis County? Is St. Louis County called St. Louis? Is the county
North
St.
County.
Louis?
Well, there's North County.
What about Barnes Jewish
Saint
Hospital?
There's West County.
No, that's in city. That's in St. Louis City.
That's where I was born.
So
I was born on the hill.
You know, one time
you're born close to the hill. It's not the hill. You're close though.
when I was in junior high.
Right, but we lived on Arsenal.
Yeah, that's the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hill.
Yeah, so I had to leave the hill to go to Barnes Jewish to be born.
You grew up on the hill.
To 6300 Arsenal. Yeah, right. I grew up on. Well, no, I was born on that. Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah. Back to what you're.
No, I was farmer blowing because I just can't get rid of this conversation now. But I was in junior high.
Yeah, go ahead.
And one of my buddies was standing at the top of my other friend's stairs and didn't think that we knew that he tried to farmer blow, and it ended up on his shirt right here, and nobody could. We could. Like you got a whole snot rocket going here. No. And you're just doing it in the toilet every day. Hold
on a second.
Yeah.
Bob is skilled. When you're from Rawls County.
I don't care how skilled you are not getting.
If you do it in the shower,
directly.
you're fine because it's all flushing out anyway.
Well, I mean, the shower's a little different than trying to aim it into the toilet
Or
when
sink.
It's spraying everywhere.
Well, so in
Sink sometimes too.
In the shower, how do you blow your nose in the shower?
Exactly. That's
Right.
what it is.
Right.
In the shower,
Yeah.
where I can wash
Right.
with soap and water.
Yeah.
And
Well, there's soap and water in the
I
bathroom.
don't know. Something I just don't like about shooting in a toilet. I just
Or
feel
the
like
sink.
St. Ellen is sitting on your snot, and I don't like it. It's just not okay with me.
St. Ellen.
She hates it. She's not a fan. She's
I
not
feel
a fan
the
at
same
all.
way about the hawk and a loogie. Like, I hate that.
Yeah, you don't want to take
Sometimes.
long walks with me in the timber.
Sometimes you got to.
No, I can't.
Something you got to get that stuff out of there, man.
Sometime I'll show you guys how I spit, and you'll realize why I just can't. I'm
How
like,
do you spit?
Your chew.
Like I just can't.
What, can't do it?
She's chewing.
No.
She's chewing and
I can't
spits.
spit.
You don't chew tobacco.
Do you like, and then
I'm
it runs out down your
and
cheek?
then half the time it's on my chin. Yeah, so I just don't spit. If I have to spit, I'll like spit into a paper towel or something.
So
And that's
you
the
couldn't-
girliest thing about me, I think.
Okay, well,
That's the girliest
I
thing
think
about
it
you.
is. Yeah.
that's the girliest thing is that you
But
can't
I
spit.
can't spit. I mean, I can't whistle either, but that's not really girly.
No, that's the girliest thing. It's not
Yeah.
doing a spit.
Well, I can't whistle.
You can't whistle either?
That's it.
Nice. I can't.
I can't like do the I always want to do the.
Yeah.
I
Mom can do that.
Yeah.
I
can't do that at
I
all.
can't whistle. I'm just diming myself out left and right. Can't spit, can't whistle. God.
So the most misogynistic thing that I've ever said is the thing I'm about to say.
Cool.
Whenever you say like, the fact that I can't do like much of anything is like the girliest thing about me.
What?
Meaning like all the stuff that you can't do is the girliest thing about you. But it's just a big joke. It's just a big joke.
Well, it's like you talked about me wearing a dress a while ago, and I was like, "What do you want? Should I be on a beer can or something?" No.
Oh, but hey, but seriously, I do have one thing to say about that, and then
Hold on, is it a Budweiser product?
I still am going. I'm
I don't
sorry,
know.
Missouri born, Missouri bred. I'm still drinking AB product. I will not give up AB product.
My only question is,
Is that an
don't
AB
they-
product?
Yeah,
I think so.
Is that AB product?
Yeah,
I'm not
Ultra.
gonna totally
You're drinking
diss it, but there's got to be there's got to be some, like, what's the end game? Because the audience right?
It was a really dumb move.
Am I misunderstanding that their audience is typically not trans? And trans is such a small portion.
And then their marketing director totally tried to explain. It's like, we're trying to get away from the frat image or whatever. It's like, oh my God, stop talking.
But the frat,
stop
the race
talking.
car driver, the sports, like that's their niche, that's their target market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So why would you steer clear of that any other reason than to show that you're on board with this big thing, which doesn't really do anybody any good. It doesn't even do the trans population any good.
No.
It really doesn't.
The title of this podcast is going to be called Trans Farmer Blowing.
Yeah.
Whoa. Probably not.
Oh, no.
Probably not.
No. Don't call it that.
We will not call it that.
No, don't call it that.
No.
I wonder if there are trans farmers. That was really good.
Thank you.
That was really quick, really clever, and
super inappropriate.
Totally by mistake. So there you go.
And that was like a total mistake.
But anyway, that's my only statement about the whole thing. I'm in full support of whoever wants to do whatever they want with their life. I feel like that's the beauty of freedom. But I do think as a major corporation, you have to know your audience, and they're smarter than to do this for any other. I don't know.
No, they're not.
So?
No, clearly
don't
not
know.
because they're not walking it back.
Do you think they were trying to kill the brand intentionally?
I talked to Gabe about that.
No, okay. So have you seen?
Yeah.
Have you seen? So real quick, I've got friends in town, and I do not want their business to go down because all of these people in Adams County don't want to drink Budweiser products anymore. So I don't want to say too much to hurt that business.
We're on record saying we still support it. So there you go.
Is it that big of a thing that you're going to
That's my thing. My thing is, okay, all you guys who are all and taking your trucks and driving over cases, and you're the ones who got all we're yelling at the wokesters for like changing Aunt Jemima's and Uncle Ben's and all this stuff. So what's the difference? It's the same thing. Just enjoy your beer. If it bothers you, switch brands, fine. But geez, let me drink my beer in peace.
Also,
I don't care.
If you're buying Bud Light, I don't care if you're shooting it, running over it, you're still supporting the brand. Okay? So let's just be real about that. When you buy a 6-pack or a 12-pack, just to shoot it up like Kid Rock did, thanks, Kid Rock. You just gave Bud Light like huge publicity, and you also still bought their products.
But Kid Rock, I think he is helping the movement against Bud Light. I do believe. I mean, it's like almost like
against Bud Light.
Yeah.
Or against
Bud Light.
The agenda
by saying he's not going to drink it anymore and shooting it up and stuff.
Which, listen, I will say this: like, you can be like the trans movement has been an unwanted extension from, truthfully, a lot of the gay community. It's because, and this is where it gets all cancel-y, but there's all of these ideas of if Anheuser-Busch, like the VP, have you seen that person? Have you seen the VP of marketing of Bud Light? Have you seen this person talk? Mm-mm. This person is absolutely fully trying to push a trans agenda. Okay. It's not like we're going to be supportive of like 0.05% of the population.
There's a difference between being supportive and pushing.
That's not what they're doing. They're not supporting it.
Right.
They're absolutely trying to shove it down people's throats. And
is this
the
InBev?
dumbest? Yeah, it's InBev. Yeah. It's this is what happens when you let the Europeans run American beer companies, I guess. But
America.
No, but as somebody who is for humans and against the unbelievable high level of propaganda of the trans stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of my gay friends in town in Quincy will say things like, we were pushing for gay marriage. We're just pushing for equality. We just want to be able to I've got a gay friend who wants to date another man.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
cool.
You go do that.
Yeah.
But that same person is saying, I really don't really like what the trans community is trying to do in terms of like the drag shows and whatnot. And you can have an opinion.
Yeah.
It is okay to have an opinion that you don't want drag shows for kids. Yeah. So for example, drag shows used to, like when I was a kid, it was like 21 and older. I mean, honestly, I almost never saw or heard of a drag show of 18 and older. It's generally like in an alcohol-based environment where you go to a club or you go like back when the cabaret was open. I mean, they were really good at putting on drag shows. And when I lived here on 6th Street in the back, I mean, I was on my back porch one time watching the cabaret and just hanging out, like
that was
having
one of my favorite places
having a
to
Bud
go.
Light with my beautiful bride. And I remember this one particular Saturday night,
shows.
late night, like around 2 a.m. when the cabaret was closing. I saw a couple of teddy bears humping a hippo and a lion out in the parking lot because it was furry night. Okay, that's fine. That's part
Did you
of
get that on video?
Huh? I do have it on video.
Get out.
I have it on video.
Can you see their faces?
Huh?
We need to make that go viral.
No,
Just saying.
it's a great video.
It will not be on Muddy River News, though.
Dang
Let's
it.
do that on
You're
your
missing the
own
boat.
time.
That's the
I love it. I love
that's the queer thing.
I love the diversity of all of it, but I think when you try to make everything, and I've said this before, when you try to make everything in 11, like everything's so important, all of it kind of loses importance because it's hard to focus on which one should I be supporting today. And also for the gay community, it's like, well, okay, we wanted equality, but now it's almost being made, I hate to even say this, but it's almost like a mockery of what they were trying to do for so long. Now the trans community wants equality, which I wish for nothing more than equality for everyone who wants to be whatever they want to be. But when you start to shove it down anyone's throat in the form of product advertising, I mean, I guess I just don't see, I don't see how it helps the cause, how it helps equality. I think it's more of a divisive, it's a way to divide people.
Yeah, and the proponents of the trans movement would say that putting on a beer can isn't shoving anything down your throat. It's just a picture of Dylan on a beer can. Don't worry about it.
Have you watched Dylan?
I will tell you this,
Have you seen Dylan
Listen.
on social media? Because Dylan is very much makes a mockery of women. Have you seen any of this?
I've seen him and all this stuff.
Okay.
Listen, this is what it boils down to. I can't go home in front of my 3 kids and drink a Bud Light can that's got a picture of a dude that looks like a girl on there because my kids are too young. They're too young for that. When my kids turn a little bit older, like older than 3, then I could start,
I have conversations about it with my kids, and they are older, and they understand, and I think they have an appreciation for everyone who wants to be whoever they want to be.
But can you tell them the truth without being transphobic?
Here's how I explain it to them. Everyone has the right to identify themselves however they want. For example, I identify as a very intelligent, beautiful, kick-ass, amazing, fantastic person. Now,
and humble.
Would they identify? Yeah, right? This is just proving my point. Do they identify me as that? Probably not. Probably not all the time. So I can look at myself however I want.
Kids?
My kids,
okay.
my husband, whoever, you guys. But just because I say I'm something, I'm okay with me thinking that of myself, but I should never expect anyone else to say, yeah, you have to call me this. You have to see me as this, because it's just a perception. And as far as equality, yes, I feel like everybody should be able to feel comfortable in their own skin. But please don't make it a deal that makes things just, I don't know. I feel like it's more agenda based, and that's why I don't like any of it. I feel like it's just divisive.
All of the adverbs and adjectives that you used to
describe myself,
to describe the noun of woman. Did you say girl, female, woman? What did you say?
Woman.
Super awesome, greatest ever.
I don't know. Maybe individual.
You said
I don't
woman.
know if did I
She
say
said
woman?
woman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the thing. So back to the beer cans. Is it okay if you tell a child? This is a big thing. Is it okay if you tell a child that Dylan, the dude on the beer can, isn't a girl, isn't a woman? It's just a guy pretending to be a girl. Can you say that? Can you say? Is that? Hold on. Is that accurate?
I would say he identifies
so.
as a woman. He identifies.
There's both. I mean, there's multiple ways to identify it.
He feels more comfortable as a woman. He was born a man. So That's, I mean,
no, we just veered off the truth trail, though.
We did?
Yeah, because it's not for a child. It and we, by the way, we can change the subject and go back to farmer blowing if you want. But
yeah, I'm always down for that because I've had very strong feelings about it.
I just want to point this out since we moved into it. If you tell a child that it's okay that the boy identifies as a woman, then the small child thinks, then I can do that. And I will tell you, as a father of 3, I personally, this is my own personal thing for my own kids. Mm-hmm. And I also don't say, well, you can do whatever you want to your kids. I don't even say that because no, you cannot. No, you cannot. It's just like, all the lies that are told in the world. For example, we've got a guy sitting in jail. Remember the innocent till proven guilty thing? That's not even a thing. And
no,
I talked about that.
Until proven innocent.
Yeah.
You and I talked about that last night. Mm-hmm. If someone has no bond, and I'm bringing this back to like the trans stuff, it goes back to like lies, okay? Misconceptions, things that are not true. Have you ever heard the old child nursery rhyme thing? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Mm-hmm. That is a lie.
Yeah,
that's a lie.
Yeah.
That's not even remotely true.
Right.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, sticks and stones will break your bones, and words will constantly hurt you for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
And you
That's
have to
why it's called
decide.
Emotional abuse.
Yeah. And so it goes back to like the trans thing. It is we are making decisions as a society, and I like your libertarian aspect of that, where I'm more tradcon on this side. I'm libertarian so much where I don't think we should make laws back and forth, like making it illegal to misgender.
Right.
But for society, it should be okay to say this person is a boy, and the fact that he's trying to say that he's a girl, it just isn't true. But you know what? Let him do it. Don't be mean to him.
Sure.
And let him live in his own fantasy.
Well, there's a difference between acceptance and science.
Absolutely. And it goes back to these things that are not true. And this VP of marketing is perpetuating more and more confusion, just like everything else in the world, just like all of the lies and the things that are not truths. They're not truths. Yeah. They're just opinions because, let's let everybody do what they want to do because it doesn't hurt society. It doesn't hurt you. Yes, it does. Yes, it does because it affects us deeply because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
And people are so mad about it. They're getting out. They're getting out machine guns and shooting them.
And taking steamrollers and driving over cases of beer.
And then there's a mass shooting the next day with the same kind of weapon.
It's divisive. But I think that's because we're putting too much attention on it. And I think that's the problem that I have with it is if you want to be trans, please identify as a woman, call yourself a woman, dress as a woman, feel comfortable. I don't care. When you get corporations, government involved, then it's an agenda. And they're using it to divide the people one way or the other. It's a divisive attack, and whether it's a distraction or it's not doing any good for any minority to have someone push it one way or the other. It's just not doing any good.
I agree with that. I agree. That statement right there was like full on at 100% A plus on this. What do you think about this notion, this theory that all of the great empires of the past in history, all of them imploded, and right before they imploded, they made gender a really big deal. So the fall of Rome. Do you know what those guys were doing? Do you know what Nero was doing?
Roman orgies, yeah, sure.
I mean, they
fiddled while it burned, yeah.
The Greek tragedy, the original Greek tragedy of Athens falling, of Rome falling, even the Mongolian Empire, the old. I mean, there's so much of like the higher ups, and
the British Empire when they started marrying their cousins.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And now look at Harry and Meghan. Look what has happened. It's like, oh my gosh. But no, there is something to this of when big societies, empires start. By the way, it's not just America. It's the entire world is going through this narrative of there's no such thing as a man or woman unless you say that you are. And if you say that that isn't true, then you're a bigot. And that is the narrative of the planet.
Yeah.
And that is a huge problem because at your base science and base relationships and base interpersonal actions of the way that you are, if you confuse that issue, you've confused humanity and shaken it to its very core.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to we don't want to offend anybody, and we don't want to make anybody mad. So if you want to do whatever, it's like you do you. And it's like, well, yeah, really? Do we want to? Do we have to? I mean, again, I really want people to just live and let live and do whatever. And if it doesn't bother me, great.
Like tending your own garden.
like the beer can and the whole, taking Aunt Jemima off the bottle or whatever. Just whatever. Just I don't care. Just I want to enjoy my syrup and I want to enjoy my beer. I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
But then don't, like you said, don't frickin' just stick it in my face. It's like, why are you? I'm not bothering you. Why are you bothering me?
It's not the trans community sticking in your face. See, that's my problem with it. The trans community is not saying, hey, you have to accept it. It's big corporations that really aren't. You think so? I've never met anyone who's like, oh, you have to accept this and call. I mean,
it's just like you haven't met anybody that admitted that they're racist either. So but the racism is a bit. So here's what's going on. Do you know who Jeffrey Marsh is?
Name sounds familiar.
I could throw out all of these names. Yeah. He's like a really big name in the trans community. He is 100% looking in the camera, going viral all over the world through TikTok, saying, "Hello, if you don't do this, I'm going to put my foot in your face." I mean, they are like hardcore. By the way, he sounds way gayer than that.
Yeah.
If you actually watch TikTok, but the idea of like the trans community in Quincy. Mm-hmm. Is not putting it in your face. As a matter of fact, some of the trans people in Quincy are pretty cool. And I mean, I'm not going to name names right now. I could. You guys would know some of these people. They're really good people. I just don't want to. It's not my place to do that.
Sure.
But they're great.
Yeah.
And they are not putting it in your face. They are being themselves and being cool. But the trans movement on is Twitter a big area for news? Because it's all over Twitter. Yeah. Is TikTok a big deal?
Yeah, but I feel like that's TikTok. More for likes and follows and money and influence. And it's more about attention than it is actually helping a community, helping them. I just feel like it's all about attention.
It is literally the vehicle. It is the vehicle to send the message. So when you're talking about all of the the Dylan Mulvaney stuff and all of these things that we're talking about, if you want to get a pulse of what's happening in society, you go to TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Insta. These are actually, like, they call them social media platforms. And what is not happening is you're not going to the nightly news, and the anchors are not dressing in. They're not doing. I mean, George Stephanopoulos has not gone full trans yet. I mean, give him some time. These people are not on the nightly news like the new versions of Dan Rather. They're not. Many of them are getting themselves into huge trouble. You know, some of the people that are creating problems in the legacy media places. But to your point, I think you're spot on correct about how the idea that the government and the corporations are pushing it.
Yeah.
But to say that trans people are just sitting by like really quietly, like not being
I feel like
settled.
The majority, and this is probably because I only kind of take what's at arm's length, because I'm worried about tending my garden, trying to worry about tending my own garden, making sure that what I'm directly influenced by is what I speak about, that's what I speak about. I think probably the majority of trans people just want safety, right? They want to be who they are, and they don't want to be killed or.
That's everybody.
Right. Okay.
You literally
but I think that's a normal.
Humanity.
I think that is a normal request. That if I want to walk down the street in whatever I want, and I want to say that I'm a badass, fine. Somebody.
Yeah, but you're not.
See,
you're saying that you're a badass. If somebody wants to disagree, some of those people will be right. Some of those people will be wrong. It'll be in the eye of the beholder. Mm-hmm. But if you call yourself a panda, everybody who agrees with you will be wrong.
Yeah.
So the trans people, honestly, listen.
No, I get what you're saying.
One of these days, I'm going to show you my godforsaken Twitter feed, and I'm going to show it to you about how. That's because you're transphobic. But anyway, this whole idea of saying, if you say that you're a man, I will tell you.
I'm not identifying this gal as a woman.
Listen, trans people, okay? And this is not a negative thing towards trans people. They are. Yes, they want safety. Yes, they don't want to be beaten up. Yes, they want respect, just like everybody else. Yeah. But they want you to say that they are something that they're not. That's not. It's like this.
No, that's what I said. If I tell me
if my pronouns,
how to identify them.
If my pronouns are sir and master, If you don't use those pronouns, then
Maestro.
you've got
Maestro.
Maestro.
Maestro, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
This is what we're dealing with. We're saying like they absolutely are in your face saying, I am this thing, and if you don't agree, then you are a bad person.
Not all of them.
No, not all.
Okay, so I don't like the they.
All
All
of the trans people on Twitter, all of them, 100% of them that are saying that are saying that. And I'm not talking about of the 2 or 3 trans people in Quincy that are absolutely rock solid, awesome. I patronize their businesses.
Yeah.
I even tip them extra when I've had too many beers. But yeah, I think as we move through this, society is going to look back on this time, just like you looked at bell bottoms and just like things, just like you look at
cyclical.
Just like you look at certain hairstyles in the 80s. Can you imagine having an 80s style haircut with the big bangs?
Some of my favorite podcasters have mullets again. It's like everything's cyclical.
People will look back at the lockdowns and think, ooh, let's not do that again. They'll look back at the gay marriage debate, and when the people said, you don't want gay marriage, you want boys to walk into girls' restrooms. What you really want is like, you want drag shows going to kids. You want to flip up your skirt and show my little girl. I mean, that's literally. I'm making fun.
So insane.
I'm making fun of right wing.
You know what? Priests are more dangerous than trans people. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. So let's not talk about
Some.
Okay, there we go. Some.
So check this out.
The facts state that.
That's a strong like anti-Catholic feeling.
No.
Listen, it's okay to be Catholic phobic.
It's not Catholic phobic. That's a fact. More priests have been arrested for,
Oh, hold on. I want to hear the statistic because I'm going to fact check
We'd have to look at the statistics,
We will
but
look at
I
the
mean,
statistic, but
who has abused
yes.
more children, priests or trans people?
Yes,
Yes.
we'll have to Google that.
And we're going to ask ChatGPT-4.
And we will announce that with, is it Harambe or the giraffe?
Hammurabi.
Hey, Bob, if she wins the giraffe thing,
I'm
still not wearing a dress, so
I'll
make a deal. If
I'm doing that.
If you are right, I will drink from a Dylan Mulvaney can, and I will like it.
Can you even get one of those in Quincy?
That's not even a thing. I mean, it's
They're going to be collector's items someday. They're going to be worth money because when poor Budweiser goes off the cliff and does
when I went
opposite-
to pick these up today, I did not see any, and so
You're not going to see them in Quincy.
Yeah, those guys are going to take those away. The guys that own the liquor stores here and the
I just don't see them supporting it.
because they've got children.
I mean, they have science. So I understand that they're, again, we'll just real quick. I don't care how you identify. I don't care how you want me to identify you. That doesn't mean I'm going to. I still know that science is a thing. I still know that there are facts. I know that I can talk to my kids about acceptance and science, and they don't have to be mutually exclusive. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
Also, I can go buy a Bud Light if I want. That doesn't mean I support any movement. That means I like Bud Light.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just the adult thing to do. And the way that social media, corporations, government are trying to get us to pick one thing or another, and we're falling for it, is just... It's insane.
That's the money shot.
It's insane.
What you're saying right now hits home the most with me is the fact that we are letting government and corporations dictate the narrative and dictate what we're allowed to do and what we're not allowed to do. Yeah. And then we're not allowed to have the response we want to have towards that narrative. Yeah. So it's like, not only are they pushing it, but if you go against it, then there's people who side with big corporations. Sure. And the media and government, they're saying, well, you can't side against them.
That's the whole purpose.
Yes, I can.
That's the whole purpose.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah. So sorry, but that was that was not a train wreck. I liked that conversation last week. We are not sad that the audio.
No, we're good.
I'm sad,
we're good.
But we said some things after a bottle of Crown that we probably.
Yeah. No, we're good now. So. This was a good one.
Yeah.
So.
No, this is good. But I think there are a lot of community things happen, like the Palmyra coaches. Come on, Palmyra. Yeah. Not Palmyra as a community, but coaches in Palmyra. Let's get our stuff together, right?
Yeah.
There it is.
And on that note, we're done. So we will be back next week. So audio working, everything great.
Hopefully air conditioner working.
Air conditioner working. Yeah, it's hot as heck in here.
feels good.
So
Frankie's sweating out his
Frankie's
fever.
sweating. Well, yeah.
I am sweating.
Yeah. So all right. Have a good week.
Thanks.
All right, thanks.